The Personality and the Life Force by Claude Bragdon, read by Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society. The Personality and the Life Force. Deep in the basement of the building in which I live is a dynamo which generates electricity. My food is both cooked and chilled by means of it. My room is illuminated by it. It runs the elevators, vacuum cleaners and the electric fans. Through each human being flows correspondingly an undifferentiated force, call it the life force, which, operating through the various bodily organs and mechanisms, accomplishes all the manifold vital processes and manifests as sensation, perception, cognition, will, passion and emotion. When the organism is not well adjusted to the impulsions of this life force, the health and spirits are affected, and when this maladjustment passes a certain point, there occurs the phenomenon of death. But the life force does not cease at death, any more than the burning out of an electric light bulb stops the dynamo in the basement. To change the figure, the life force is related to the personality in something, the same way that the builder and operator of a machine is related to that mechanism. I believe this for what may seem a naive reason, that man is himself a machine builder and operator, producing from the bow and arrow to the printing press mechanisms more and more ingenious and animate. The personality, organised and energised by the life force, cannot do other than repeat in its own way and on its own plane of manifestation the creative activity of its progenitor. The life force is conditioned as regards the personality in the same way as is the operator of a machine by its mechanism. He can accomplish with it only that for which it is adapted and of which it is capable. The personality is conscious of the life force in much the same way and to the same extent as an engine might be of its operator. Such things as desire, aversion, pleasure, pain, being indices of the will of the life force, in the same way that the operation of the starter, accelerator, brake and other devices might indicate to a car the will of its driver, though nothing of his purpose in so willing. The personality, however, and here the analogy is again inadequate, participates after its fashion in the consciousness of the life force, and is all unconsciously that consciousness. This is the reason why the personality, though subject to time, feels itself a time binder, though imprisoned in form and coerced by causation, feels itself free. It asserts its belief in immortality in the face of the ever-present fact of death by its death-defying courage and imprudence, and its belief in its own freedom by revolt against the life force, as though itself were sole prime mover. This careless prodigality and rebellion on the part of the personality is really an evidence of the creativeness and freedom of the life force, which affirms its immortality by death and its liberty by destruction. Man walks daily on the edge of his grave, and it can be only by some intimation of his immortality that he is careless of this danger, living as though it did not exist. Such indifference is itself a sign that he is actually filled with this conviction. Now, the only possible salvation for the personality consists in the realization that it exists not for its own sake or for its own pleasure, but for the uses of the life force, and in the abdication of its individual will as a consequence of such realization. For when this fusion of the two occurs, the personality becomes a conscious participator in the freedom and eternalness of the life force, which in turn realizes itself anew through the organ of an individual uniqueness. It is a consummation which may be compared with the first opening of an eye upon the sun, since in a sense the sun exists anew in every eye which sees it. In like manner, the life force, the Redeemer, lives again in each redeemed. A realization of this must have inspired the ecstatic cry of the mystic, "I am as necessary to God as he is necessary to me." For this gift of the personality to the life force is a mutual gift, like that of lovers to one another. It is the giving of life to itself and the acceptance of life from itself in order to experience its oneness. Become what thou art is an admonition to the personality, thus to give itself to itself, for it is and can become only the life force. Goethe has given expression to this same idea in a famous couplet. Our life is pawn to life, its only pledge. Is life itself the sole redemption? End of quote.